So I'm going to start the recording now, and our two presenters today will be Heather Coulihan and Claudia Plize from the Association of Alaska School Boards. Enjoy the presentation.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. We are so happy and excited that you are spending your afternoon with us. So my name is Claudia Plesha, and as you can see there, I'm the one in the middle making a funny face. And those are my two sisters. So they're part of my support system, and they're just part of that piece of me that some people may not see. I also support the ASB team here that works on trauma engaged schools resources. And so I'm really excited to be here with you all.
And I'm Heather Coulihan, and I'll echo Claudia's enthusiasm in being gathered in this space together to talk about our new resources. I am the one in the purple headband, and you can see my group of hiking friends here in Juneau that's part of my support system. And we are really so excited to be gathered in this space together because these resources really came from you. You have been part of reviewing these resources, asking for these resources. So really what an honor to be here to talk about the resources in reality. So happy to be here.
So a little bit about our time together. Our agenda today will include trying out 3 new transforming school resources. We'll be engaging in a conversation with each other around how might we use these tools, and you'll be able to walk away and can use them right away because they're up on our websites. And so we'll start up with a warm-up question just to get you all thinking about resilience and our students. We'll do some small group discussion. You'll choose your own adventure. You'll choose one of 2 resources to try, and then we'll come back and do a little bit of sharing with each other. So that's sort of our plan for the day.
Before we hop into the warm-up question, I realized that we didn't introduce the whole team. We introduced us who are talking today, but I wanted to give a shout out to Sharon, who welcomed us into the space as part of the toolkit team, and to Pat Sidmore. So if you can see Pat's video, he's waving right now, yes. And then Tyler Breen, if you can see Tyler, I can't see him, but hopefully he's waving. And then Vanessa Shannon also, and Lori Grass Green. So we have been working together to take your feedback and make it a reality.
So I just wanted to put this out there, thinking about our kiddos. We love the kids we work with. We love that we get to spend time and be a big part of our kiddos' lives. So thinking about the kids that you work with, what makes our kids resilient? What are some of those things that helps them along the way? So feel free to unmute yourself and share it out. Feel free to put it in the chat. So what makes our kids resilient?
Sharon reminded us in chat too, feel free to put your name and where you are in Alaska too.
So we've got humor. That really helps us to connect to our students. That's a big one. Can't forget that. Sometimes we're the reason for that humor, and that's part of working with the kiddos. The support of their families, their support systems, their relationships, yes. Friends, being outdoors, connecting with the outdoors. Hi, Christina. Having trust in their relationships, building that trust with other people. Hi, Brandy. Relationships, family and friends, supportive adults. Hi there in Savunga. Hope y'all are doing well. And Eagle River. Awesome. So we've got folks from all over, and we also know our kids need their families. Their support system, their friends make them resilient. The adults and the relationships that they have help them be resilient. And so we are part of that as educators. We're part of that as as a sister, I'm part of that. I'm an auntie. And so we're part of that journey for our young people. And when I ask a different version of this questions to adults that we work with, and we ask, what helped you succeed in school? It's always things that are external. We have these things that are external. And so us as educators within a school system, we are able to impact the setting in which our kids do their learning. Ooh, we've got a few other folks on here. We've got some folks from South Dakota. Welcome. How exciting. And some folks from Bethel too. Hi, Megan. So very good to have you all here in the room today. There's so much that we can learn from each other. And so thank you all so much. Those are some of the things that make our kids resilient, and we have a huge impact on those. So thinking about how these resources came together, just wanted to give you a little bit of background before we introduce some new ones and before you all get to try them. So the Transforming Schools framework, how many of you have held one, seen one, used one? Go ahead and give us a thumbs up or a reaction on your video. Ooh, okay, I see lots of hands go up, lots of thumbs up, lots of smiling faces. So this is a resource that came together with so many educators really saying, what do our students here in Alaska need to be resilient? What are those things? And whether they're coming in really ready for learning, or whether they carry some other things that are harder, some traumas or some things that some hardships. We have an ability to help them be more resilient, lean on their strengths, really be able to, in some ways, get past some of that and build trusting relationships with adults. And we're at the core of that. And so working with each of you, and so on the next slide. Oh, wait, you might have a different version. Working with each of you, we created this framework. And so this framework had these really big pieces that said, if we do these things together, our work will be better. Our students will be more prepared. They'll be more resilient. And those that come in with extra hardships will be more supported. And it is good for all of our students. And so there's this framework out there, and it took a couple of years to create. And it was with each of you that it came together. It was with educators around the state. And so once that understanding of how does trauma impact learning, how does trauma impact our Alaskan students particularly, once we started that conversation, you all also said, you know, we also need more tools. We need more tools for how to do this work. We need more tools for if I'm an educator, if I'm a leader at my school, or if I work with kiddos in another setting after school. Maybe I'm in the health field. And so we put together the toolkit, which you'll see all of those little bubbles there are steps and activities and things that you can do depending on what role you play. And so that also came together with the help of many, many folks. It also took about a couple of years to pull together. And so we just wanted to say thank you to each of you that participated and to all of the hands that were there to bring it together. And so now that we're here at this point, you all have also said, we're starting to do this work. We're starting to dig in. How do we know we're making a difference? How do we know we're on the right path? And so some more resources were developed out of that ask. So Heather, do you want to tell us a little bit about what other resources we now have available?
Yes, I do want to tell you that. I do want to tell you that. I want to tell you about our Milestone guides and our Knowing to Doing video library. And so I thought I'd just take you on a little tour to show you where to find these as we talk about what they are. So you can see the DEED website right now, the Transforming Schools website. Actually, I've popped us right into the toolkit. So when you get to the DEED framework page and you click on the toolkit, we're going to explore deconstructing trauma right now. And you'll see what probably looks familiar to you because you've been probably really using the tools in the deconstructing component of the toolkit. You're familiar with what can leadership do, what can staff do, and the resources that are available there. And then you're like amazed because you see this new section, milestones, and you're very curious about what these milestones are. And this milestone guide is a way to be thinking about your deconstructing trauma work. It's a way to see the big picture of the work. What does the work look like when you're getting ready and you're preparing? What does it look like when you move into starting the work? And then when you're applying the work, and then when you've tried things out and you are refining the work. So you're thinking, wow, that would really help me with planning. And that would probably really help us like assess where we are in the process. So you simply click on that link and this the milestone guide pops up and let's see, you are not seeing it right now. So let me stop share and start a new screen share so you can see it. And this is what it looks like. So it gives you some information about how each of those phases in the process are defined. And then it jumps you right into the steps that you see in the toolkit, the steps that you see in the framework. And it breaks down the steps into micro steps, into those milestones. What does it look like when you are taking like a baby step, a manageable, doable, bite-sized step towards the work? And so you'll see steps for leadership, and you'll see steps then for staff. And you'll also notice that things are hyperlinked. So when there's a resource that's mentioned as useful in this micro step, it's hyperlinked. And this gets downloaded as a Word document. So you are able to type into it and really be using it as your action plan as you put in key dates, next steps, who's responsible. So I'm going to stop share on that. And if you'd like to choose this adventure, you'll be able to dive in and explore this milestone guide a little bit more. But maybe you're like I'm a little more of a visual person, not reading words. I prefer to be watching videos. Well, we got you covered. And so if you are interested in the if you're interested in the Knowing to Doing video library, in that case, we will have that conversation. And I want to show you where that is. Okay. So the Knowing to Doing video library is a collection of short videos, for the most part, all under 7 minutes or just under. And the way that we find those is going back to our toolkit page. And then also new little banner box there, Knowing to Doing videos. And there's a brief description of just the reminder that there are videos for all 11 of the components. And when you click on that resources tab, it brings up the videos that are there right now. And you'll find anywhere from 5 to 2 videos there. Know that this is just the beginning, like this is just the launch of these resources. And so today, if you choose the video adventure, we're going to look at this deconstructing trauma, number 4 with Renee Culp, It Is Within You. So those are the 2 adventures that you can choose today. Claudia, anything I missed?
I guess I just was wondering if you could just tell them how the videos came together. So who is actually speaking to them in these videos?
Sure, thanks. So we were working on the videos this summer, and it really is a pretty remarkable collection of Alaskans who are speaking. So we've got some superintendents who are sharing various parts of the work. We have counselors who are sharing parts of the work, teachers. We have some folks who are Alaskans and working on the national level, like Pat, it has a video in there. Dr. Linda Chamberlain has a video. Dr. Laverne Dementeff, who some of you already know or maybe met during the launch for the Alaska Healthy Schools Learning Collaborative. It's a great series in there, the 5 C's of healing-centered engagement. So really, it is a great collection of speakers. And one thing that's really fun about the library is that we ask presenters to show a photo of where they are in Alaska. So it's kind of a fun way to connect across the state and really catch like a window into other parts of the state.
Thanks, Heather. So I think this is our time where you get to choose. You get to choose your own adventure. I think that the Milestone Guide could also be something that can help you figure out some of the things that you are already doing, and maybe there are some things that you want to keep growing in. You might find some things that maybe you could partner with others to do. So there's lots to dig into there, or do you want to review the video? So Heather, how can folks make this choice?
So this is going to be part of the adventure. I have one breakout room set up, and it is called Milestone Guide. And if you would like to join Claudia and have some conversation about how to use the Milestone Guide, when you'll get a notice that will pop up inviting you to join that room, and then you can choose to join that room. If you'd like to hang out with me and Pat for a little bit and watch part of the It Is Within You video with Renee and then have conversation, just ignore whatever invitations you get, and you'll hang out in the main room with me. So I think that's how that is how you'll join. Things might go a little sideways, which will be okay. And I will sort it out as the breakout room host. Any questions? Either unmuting yourself or in chat before I open the breakout room and we have good conversation. And then we'll actually have some time to share out when we finish our breakouts, so that you'll learn about the other component too. So you don't have to be worried that you'll be missing out on anything, because you won't be. So any questions? Okay, I'm gonna open this breakout room and join Claudia or hang out with me. Okay, our folks, let's see. So Tyler joined Milestone Guide. Other folks, you might need to hover your cursor down like at the bottom of your screen, or hover it at the top of your screen. If it's not easily visible about how to join, you may need to do that. Let's see. So we have a couple of people joining Milestone Guides. Encourage other folks. Is there anybody who wants to join Milestone Guide who is unable to join? I can quickly put you there. Feel free to unmute or to.
Hi, how do you get onto it?
Okay, so if you could hover your cursor. Okay, hover your cursor down at the bottom. Do you see a menu that pops up or icons that pop out, and one called Breakout Rooms? if you find that. Okay, Elizabeth, I'm going to get you in there.
I already did.
Oh, great. Thanks. Anybody else want to join Milestones who's having trouble doing that? If you could put it in the chat, Sharon will put you in.
So I'm hovering over the breakout room, but I don't see how to do it.
Sharon, could you work your magic? And
Once you hover and find that menu, you do have to click the 4 squares for it to come up.
4 squares. All right, thanks Sharon for putting people where they're going to go. I am going to start us off in video and know that we might have some folks disappearing out of our space. If you could type into chat, if you'd like to go over into Milestones, Sharon will wave her magic wand and take care of that. So videos. Okay, here we go. Let's get into, there we go. Okay, so we're going to watch just a little bit of Renee's video. It's a little bit longer than the videos usually are. Her videos is about 12 minutes because it involves telling story about her grandmother and then giving examples in the classroom. So it's a little bit longer. It's about 12 minutes, and we'll watch about 5 minutes of it, the beginning part and then the ending part. So I'm going to stop share briefly because I realized I forgot to set things up so that you could hear sound. Okay. All right. Nope. This is the opportunity I'm giving you for like some deep breathing while I get this sorted out. So, you know, or stretch like it's at the end of your workday. So Pat's going to lead us in some stretches right now. And here we go. Okay. I promise you this is worth waiting for. Okay, here we go.
My name is Renee Culp, or Klugunk. I am a Chukanadi, Chukanshaw from Glacier Bay via Huna. This photo is a sunset at Tea Harbor, looking out at the Chilkat Mountains. I currently live and work in Juneau, Alaska. I'm a community clinical psychologist with almost 30 years working in the social services field, currently employed with our local tribe, Tlingit Haida, as a program coordinator of the Navigators, a culturally responsive program addressing the challenges our people face as survivors of generational and historical trauma. Itu ye yeti, it is within you. Generational trauma and generation.
Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. I am taking care of it. Let's see if this works.
Resilience. Becoming trauma informed, you may now be quite familiar with generational trauma and historical trauma. A newer concept that is now being explored within individuals who experience generational and historical trauma is generational resilience. It must be that for me to survive, even thrive beyond these traumas, I also hold generational resilience deep within me. One day, I was speaking with a white colleague of mine, sharing yet another loss in my family. She was surprised as I recalled I had just been dealing with a tragic loss. In confirming her memory, she was indeed correct. She asked, How are you still functioning? If I had 2 significant losses back to back, I'd be in a puddle, in bed, curtains closed, lights out, bawling, unable to function. At the time, I was unsure how to answer her, as compounded grief and trauma are our reality as Native people all the time. I simply responded with, because we have no choice. If we do not carry on, more pain and suffering will follow. After much consideration of this question, I now know how to answer. The Tlingit saying, "Itu ye yeti," it is within you. Indigenous peoples experience intense traumas of all kinds. These experiences live within every cell of our body. The gifts I have been given by my answers since time immemorial is that I also hold resilience and strength in every cell of my body. This is how I carry on. The concept of generational trauma was so powerful for me. Within its very DNA, a tree holds the strength to bend with the wind, but not break with the storm. The roots ground it. Its goal is to grow and reach for the sky. It renews and grows stronger every year. Trees, in my opinion, are the picture of resilience. Within my own family line, I know fierce resilience. It is deep within my DNA.
So we're watching the beginning, and then I'm gonna skip to the end to what Renee suggests that you can do right away. And I'm doing that as a teaser so that you go in and watch the middle part, because Renee tells a story about her grandmother and gives examples of what this might look like in the classroom. So make sure to go into the toolkit and catch the innards of Renee's video. And also I wanna have some time for us to have conversation too. Another reason to fast forward to the end. So hold tight for one moment.
To do is to just give you some suggestions on how you might be able to explore looking at generational resilience within your students. What can you do right now when we're done with this video? I have a video here. So first, watch the 6 minute, 16 seconds. Honestly, it's that short. Video on generational trauma. It's the epigenetics of trauma. 2, find ways to reflect, enhance, and teach resilience within your youth. The program that I work with, Navigators Program, we have a saying, the navigators sail the 7 seas of resilience. And to help you begin sailing those 7 seas, check out the link that I have here on fostering resilience. The last thing that I encourage you to do is to really start to reframe your thinking. Explore a habitual behavior that you notice within one of your students. What is that behavior? And in what ways might this behavior be protecting this student? And I'd like to note, not all behaviors are resilient responses resulting from trauma, but understanding the behavior, the student and their situation will really help you begin to see how their behaviors are resilience in actions and which behaviors are otherwise. Ganesh for having me here today.
Okay, Well, like I said, I wanted to have a little bit of time for conversation. We have about 10 minutes left. So just quick question. What stood out to you about the video? And feel free to type it into chat, and also feel free to be brave and unmute. We may have some of that awkward Zoom people unmuting at the same time, but we are able to make space for everyone. So what stood out to you about the video?
I liked her reference about how people are strong like trees, the resilience. I really want to explore more in that video. So,
and yeah, her use of metaphor there, helping us think about what is resilience like. Thanks for bringing that up.
I was just struck by that last little bit where she talked about looking at your students or your children's habitual behaviors as resilient. And it sprung to mind for me, a lot of times we look at habitual behaviors as negative, that kids are, oh my Lord, they're always doing this or that. And it's so, annoying to adults or destructive or whatever, but they are resilient behaviors. So if we can look at it like that and talk about it like that, maybe we want to replace them with a more socially productive behavior. But if we can look at it as resilient, we can have a more positive attitude towards that. So that jumped out at me.
Thanks, Susan. Yeah, that was a shift in thinking in a very different way. And she gives great examples in the middle there of what that could look like in the classroom and what that behavior might actually be like resilient around what it might be doing. So yeah, go back and watch the video. Thanks, Susan. And I see from Megan in chat the powerful message of resilience and that it's in each one of us and our students. So always coming back to that, it is within us. Thanks. Other folks, what stood out to you about the video? I heard somebody unmuting.
Hi, for me, I'd say it's the importance of understanding the behavior and what's stemming from it. That, it could be a form of coping with something underlying and communication, reaching out for help in a way too. So.
Oh, thanks, Shannon. That reminder that behavior is communication, and that again, this shift that it may also be a resilient behavior that students are using in a different situation that is not the resilient behavior needed in school. So thanks for that. And Brandy, her discussion brought to mind how resilience is something that can be contagious or learned. We keep needing to hear that, don't we, for ourselves, and then also giving that message to our students. I'm wondering, like, as you were watching this video, what ideas were percolating, or could we get some percolating ideas now about how you might use these videos in your practice? Or as you're thinking about working with colleagues, ideas on how to use these videos.
So we just had a leadership meeting where I was able to present to administrators for BSSD. And one of the things we talked about is that we've talked to the talk and now let's walk the walk. So really laying out a PD plan that says every first Friday, we will focus on trauma engaged, or, and putting that out there. And it really meshes with our new strategic planning process that we've been going through. So I'm hoping we're going to walk that forward. And these are fantastic tools for that.
Great. So you bring up pieces of the milestone guides. So that planning milestone guide can be helpful. tool might be a helpful tool in that. And that mapping out of the professional learning, that is so important to have that vision. And then you're holding that space for it and can really be moving as a group towards that. And I think the video library, I think, will be ideal for that, using in that way. That was one thing that was in our minds of how they might be used. And the professional learning milestone guide isn't quite done yet, but it will be posted when it's done. So we've got 5 milestone guides posted, and the remaining 6 will be coming soon. But each of the 11 components has at least 2 videos.
And I know that in one of our other meetings, we had reviewed and I had seen the youth leaders area, and I've already been gleaning pieces from that for the youth leaders because, you know, as counselor coordinator, I do the youth leader thing too. So we're crafting our youth leaders using that too.
Wonderful. It's great to hear that testimonial. And I just want to say again that really in every chair or in every Zoom video box is a leader that so many of you have been involved in creating these resources. So I just want to again say gratitude for that. About any other ideas that are percolating for how you might use these videos?
I am a intern student with the Matsu School District, but for myself, I think that this would be something really good for if you do have an intern, using them to help them understand trauma-informed approaches when it comes to the schools themselves.
Wow, Brandy, love that idea of working with interns who are just starting to get their feet wet. What does this really look like? So building that knowledge and that awareness of what does this look like and what does this look like in Alaska? You know, when we have so many folks coming up from outside, I think that's one thing that's nice about this library is it's unique to us. So Susan's idea would love some of the mandatory annual or checkpoint trainings for all educators and administrators. So could we, and fortunately, we have folks with deed that are part of the team, so we can plant the seed of that idea. Other ideas about how you might use these videos?
I think it would be okay to share with parents. I work with parents for parent engagement. My job is to help parents feel welcome in schools. And I know that with our past with the school system, it's not great. So I really want to bring awareness to how we could heal.
Christina, that has ideas like sparking in me. I want to go back and look at the videos now with that lens of thinking about what would it be like for a family to be watching this video. So
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I want to go back and do that. And I would encourage you to look at them too. And I'd be really curious to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, last year I did Circle with Families. And it was okay, but I just want to break those barriers between school life and home life and just help parents feel more welcome in the schools.
And, you know, maybe that's really an idea. Pat's taking some notes for us because maybe that is something to consider of how can we, what would that video library look like if we had a video library that was really supporting that school family partnership work. And I know that we have at AASB our Stronger Together framework that is focused on school family partnerships. And I think that there is a video library that's going to be part of that. But I think the audience for that video library is again, school staff. So yes, a percolating idea there. Thank you for that.
You know, Heather, I was thinking, as Christina was saying, wouldn't it be interesting to have school staff and families watch these together, and then have a conversation? I think that might be interesting too.
That's great, Pat. And interestingly, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the videos in the professional learning component is Marcus Wilson with ASD talking about that exact thing of how to come together to watch the video, do professional learning together. So thanks for that idea. Let's see.
And Heather, I put the Stronger Together framework in the chat there. That's also related. And there's a section, there's the whole, that might speak a little bit to what Christina was asking around family partnership. And then there's a section within that focused on co-regulation too, thinking about what families can do in that realm. But, it speaks to some of the other topics that Renee has touched on too, just about the experience of families in schools and in their communities and with trauma and as an individual and as a collective. And so I think there's things to take from that. And I believe some of the videos, even for this library, Heather, are tied to the family partnership section. And I know that there's a team at ASB that is working on creating materials for school staff to use with families, that it's for, the materials are now for families, not just the school staff. So more to come on that.
Great, thanks for that, Lori. And Lori, like she said, she posted the link to that Stronger Together framework, which is beautiful, stunning artwork. I would say that Transforming Schools and Stronger Together are worth looking at just for the artwork. So we've got the Milestone group back, and Milestone Guide group, we'd love to hear from you some tasty bits from your conversation, since we didn't have a chance to look at the Milestone guides.
Thanks so much, Al. And we had a smaller group. It seems like the videos were a big draw, but we had a smaller group and we had a good conversation. So Vanessa, are you up for sharing out?
Yeah. So we talked about some of the strengths that we found in the Milestone guides was really including that family engagement, how just really important that is, especially around professional development. We know we can do well at training our staff most times, but it's really amazing when we can include our families in that brain research and science and how impactful that is for that partnership. And then we also talked about just having that same language for that connection and just how really important it is and how families can bring a lot to the table and even know more. And then we had some members really excited how organized those guides are, how it can really hold accountability. Don't really have to think of the ideas. Everything is just right there, and can almost assign like committees or just have more accountability for those ideas and thoughts. Did I miss anything, Claudia?
I think that might have been it. I think that's what we talked about. I think that the more we know our families, the more we realize that there might be a need. And the more we realize their strengths and all the things that they bring at the table. So I think us being on the same page with what we're doing, bringing them into professional learning, but also communicating with them as we're doing this work and really bringing them in. I think that's really important, and that's something we talked about. So that's what we had. What did you all talk about?
We did not identify a reporter. Might somebody be willing to unmute and tell the Milestoners, I was going to call you, but that sounded kind of funny. Anybody willing? And Pat, I'm sorry, as the recorder, might you be willing to give a bit of a report out too?
Sure, if you don't mind looking at the side of my head while I read. So we watched a video, and first of all, it was by Renee Culp, who, I mean, wouldn't it be great if we all had her wisdom all the time? I miss working with her more regularly, but anyway, her video just really, people said that it was looking at students, she talked about looking at students' habitual behaviors as resilience rather than in a negative light. She used metaphors, like thinking of students as strong trees. I think there was a powerful message of resilience in her video. And I think seeing it from someone in Alaska telling that story, I think really resonated with everyone. And then we talked about how it could get incorporated into practice, and people are laying out a plan on how to become more trauma engaged, and these videos are great tools to bring in to meetings. They could be used with youth leaders. They're a nice length. They're kind of bite-sized, so it's not overwhelming. And then there was an interesting discussion at the end about using videos for new folks or interns that are new to the school or even new to the state. And that it would be great to share it with parents, or to have some that were directed with parents, or maybe jointly with parents and educators. Anyway, lots of possibilities to think about. And then a little bit of regulatory discussion about how maybe trauma engaged schools should be a required part of teacher recertification. So there you go.
Thanks, Pat, for being our note taker, and then also our reporter. Thanks for that. Anything that the group would want to add to Pat's report out? All right, I'm going to put screen share back on, because wait, there's more. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, it does.
So we promised you 3 tools today, and you have looked at 2. So we've got a third one. And before we go into that, with the tools that we did share with you, you can incorporate in a lot of different ways, and a lot of maybe small ways too. Thinking about this work, thinking about tomorrow, what is something that you can do right away that you think will have impact? What's an idea that you had? What's something that sparked for you? Go ahead and unmute yourself and share it, or put it in the chat. And then we've got something that we would love to encourage you to do as well. So go ahead and tell us in the chat, what's something you can do right away? Maybe it's a small, impactful thing. What could that be?
Hi, everyone. I would say, since the video we watched touched on generational trauma, just to be aware of any cultural barriers, inside the classroom, just making sure things are culturally sensitive, being supportive of students when they're, if something, a behavior happens, such as we were talking about in our discussion, where maybe they're having a hard time, and just being supportive, being there for them. Thanks.
So lots of folks are gonna watch more videos, so incorporating those into their work. What are some other things you can do? Sharing videos with school staff. Somebody earlier also said sharing these resources with the district, making sure that folks know where they are located. sharing the resources with school social workers. That's a great idea. Having all of us be on the same page as we're doing this. Watching it as a team. Awesome. So thanks all. So you all are already really thinking about spreading the word and talking to others about these resources. And so we have another way that you can do that. And so we wanted to introduce some social media graphics and some posts that you can use to help create more champions for this work. We know that the better we are as educators in our state, the more champions we have on our team, the more effective we can be. And so we have these social media graphics that encourage your colleagues to come check out these resources, to take care of self, and to do short activities, small actions that can be impactful. There's also quotes from educators that talk about the importance of us being trauma engaged when we're doing our work, building relationships with our students, some of those things that really help. And so we wanted to say thank you. We wanted to thank you for being here, and also to encourage us to keep building and to have more of our colleagues be on the same page with us, using the same language, thinking in the same ways about what about this impact and the things that we can do together. So that is our third resource that we wanted to introduce. They're very pretty, and they also encourage action. So feel free to download and share with your colleagues and with other educators that are thinking about this and doing this work. Thank you, Heather, for sharing your screen. Any questions about these? Anything that you want to know more about? Throw it in the chat.
Just one quick note. So the social media bits are on AASB's website. And I think you can also get to it from the DEED framework page, that if it doesn't already, it will link to AASB's page. And it is so easy to download these. You just click on it and can press on download. So they're very usable.
Thanks, Heather. All right, so we wanted to introduce that. And then the last thing we wanted to tell you is just our next steps. What more can you expect moving forward? So videos will be uploaded weekly with additional TES topics. So keep checking back. Reach out to Heather if you're wondering what those are, if you want to create one. We are open to all of it, but they will be uploaded weekly. More milestone guides will be published in spring of 2022. And additionally, there's a whole suite of resources that are available that we could not review today. So click on that link and there's more you can access. If there's something you're not quite finding, we might have it. So there are the slides there. We just want to say thank you. We really appreciate you all being here, taking the time to explore with us. And we'd love to hear from you. What else would you want? What else would you need as far as resources to do this work?
And if you're like, I can't remember where to find all these things, an easy place to go is to the department's trauma page. And I will show you really quick where some of these things, oh, there she is. If you scroll down, keep scrolling down, there we go. There's the social media campaign that'll take you directly to AASB's site. And then there's the Transforming Schools Quick Guide. That is right there on the main page too, that gives a brief description of all the different tools that we have made available and a link to where you can get to them quickly.
And I also pulled that quick guide into the chat as a PDF, so you can click on that and download that.
Whew. So thanks all. Keep it going, keep building, keep supporting our students. We're very excited and proud to be part of this work with you.
Thanks, everyone.